Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Udaan, the Sparks story. In our previous episode, we spoke about exam pressure and how to manage stress like a champion. Today, we are taking the next step because managing pressure is important, but preparing smartly is equally powerful. If you have ever wondered how many hours should I study, why do I keep procrastinating? What if I'm weak in one subject? How do I stop studying only right before exam? Then this episode is just for you. Today we are focusing on study strategies, consistency, mindset, and how to bounce back stronger. And to guide us, we are honored to have with us Mrs. Bakador W. Bennett. Mrs. Bennett is an accomplished educator and strategic advisor with over 30 years of experience as a teacher and principal. She holds an MSc in biochemistry, B.Ed, and M.Ed, and has been recognized with the District Teacher Award 2017 and the National Teacher Award 2019 by the President of India. She is trained in school leadership and management and has served as an academic leader, master trainer, and facilitator, including online pandemic training. She has contributed to educational policy as a member of the Meghalaya Board of School Education and the State Steering Committee for SCF and ECCE. She has played key roles in school improvement initiative, teacher professional learning communities, and collaborative leadership, and has been featured on PM eVidya NCERT for her work in Meghalaya. Welcome, ma'am, to Udaan, the Spark Story. Let's begin something every student struggle with. How can student create a realistic study timetable?
Thank you very much, Shivangi, for your introduction and for having me for this special program. Okay, for your question, how can students create a realistic timetable, study timetable? This question, yes, is very important. I feel that a realistic timetable should match students' daily life. It should not make them feel like a burden. Instead of long, rigid hours, the focus should be on balance and consistency. So actually, students can begin by making their daily routine right from getting up early in the morning. They should remember school time, rest time, and sleep play time. And even if some of the students they may have tuition, they should remember everything. So divide study time into short focus slots. For example, 40 to 60 minutes. It depends on them. And then at the same time, they should mix easy and difficult subjects if they want to put it in their routine to avoid fatigue. And also, they should remember to create buffer time for revision and expect unexpected delays, and make sure that they have time for rest and relaxation. Because a good timetable should guide students. It should not control them. It should be flexible, practical, and sustainable.
So basically, they should like make timetable according to their routine, right? And like, how many hours do you think like class 10, 11, or 12 student should ideally study every day? Like, how many hours?
For 10, 11, and 12, I can say that there should not be a fixed hours, or it depends on a student. It depends on their strength, their capability,
Mhm.
or we can say what matters more than time is focus and consistency again. Anyway, on average, around for class 10 students, it may be 3 to 5 focused hours daily. And for class 11 to 12, it may be more, maybe 4 to 6 hours beside school time. But
Mhm.
during exams, this may increase slightly. But at the same time, it should not be continuously. It should be broken into short, effective sessions. But I would also want to tell the students that instead of counting hours, students should reflect on, was the study focus? Was Did I focus on my studies, or
Mm.
did I received or learn something from what I studied just now, or the whole these many hours, or did I understand better today compared to yesterday? So even deeply focused few hours is more powerful than long distracted ones. So
Yeah.
we can say study regularly, stay consistent, and prioritize on understanding over long hours.
Sometimes
That's
it
it.
happens to me also. I'm like studying. I'll plan, okay, I'll study it for like 2 hours, and I don't end up studying for 2 hours because the energy is just for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and after that it's gone. I cannot remember anything. So yeah, I think we should study according to like whatever our focus time is. And this, like, I actually personally struggle with. How can a student avoid procrastination? I struggle that with a lot.
Procrastination. Yeah, many students may face this issue, but students they procrastinate for various reasons. There should be a reason why. So it may be combined due to the combination of many, maybe psychologically, even academically, yes, and environmental factors, family or school or even the society. But common causes, it may include fear of failure. Even that may cause procrastination. Also low motivation, poor time management, and maybe sometimes they may feel overwhelmed with all the tasks given by from
Mm,
school. So this and all these distractions, low confidence, and sometimes that they're feeling that they want to be perfect. That also like contribute to the dealing work pressure because of the pressure that has been built in that on all these feelings. So to answer your question, to overcome procrastination, we can say there's a simple or weak but effective. They should start small. Even we can say that they can start with the smallest tasks, the easy tasks. They feel like it's easy for them. They can start but studying only 5 minutes. Then remove the distractions. For example, nowadays they have mobile phones, social media.
mm,
So when they start studying, keep them aside, put them off, put them somewhere, give the phones to the parents, and then try to minimize distractions as much as possible. Then one more thing is they can set clear goals.
mm.
They should keep in mind they have a goal that I should study how long, this long. And then they should also remember that if they start doing something, even though it's small, it will help them to reduce procrastination.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And when I was like giving my exams, I used to give mock test, sample paper. Like everybody, my seniors would tell me, "Okay, you should, prepare sample papers or solve previous year question papers." So is it actually important? Like, how important is mock test or sample paper in exam preparation? Does it actually help?
Yes, mock tests, sample papers, these are, I can say, extremely important in exam preparation. They help to reduce exam anxiety. They help to make the students know the unknown. They don't know what they will expect. So it also improve time management when they practice, and it gives
Mhm.
them a clear idea of their strengths and weak areas. Because if they have mock tests and sample papers, even the teachers would have given these questions to prepare. So more importantly, they show students where they stand and what needs improvement. So mock tests act as a rehearsal, we can see,
So
before
in
their real performance. So they build familiarity with the exam pattern and gradually boost confidence. So yeah, mock tests as practice for the real exams.
that means like if they see it in the real exam, they won't get overwhelmed by the questions. Like they do already know the pattern and everything.
Yeah, they
And
will feel more confident and prepared.
and do you think like if a student is weak in like a certain subject, what can they do? Like how can they, you know, cope up with that? So suppose I was really weak in maths. So how should student actually focus on what they're weak at?
Struggling in one subject does not define students' overall ability. Each individual has different ability. They should understand that maybe somebody will be weak in maths, somebody in English, or any other subject. So if a student feels weak in a subject like maths, the first step is uh, to reassure themselves, or they should receive a reassurance from their elders or teachers. So with the right approach, strengthen basics, learn the, the foundations, regular practice, if it's maths, and or we can see not only regularly but daily practice in small portions, like mentioned earlier, small things with proper guidance, they will experience steady performance, steady, like their performance will be improved, and they should believe that they can be improved. So students should also accept that they are weak in one thing or the other. So it's the same thing. We should accept our weaknesses without feeling embarrassed. And the students, if they know they can identify their weaknesses, they should focus on strengthening strengthening the weaknesses. So practicing regularly in small, manageable portions, it will help them build their confidence over time. And also, it's very important to seek helps. Seek help
mm,
from maybe friends, teachers, again, parents or mentors. That's also very important. So because from discussion and support, if they receive help and encouragement from others, ultimately they will improve.
and surely
Yeah.
like study like if I'm weak in some certain subjects, so is it better like if I practice it every day? Like if I give a spare time to it, that this time is especially for the subject that I'm weak for.
Yes, it needs to be consistent. It's not just
Okay.
once a while. You learn today. You cannot just leave a gap for a long time. It should be consistent, and they keep repeating, and that will give them confidence.
Okay. And is the group studies like all children do nowadays, is it actually helpful or distracting?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, if they're weak, they can consult even with the peers, with their friends.
Mhm.
So we know that students' healthy group study habits are developed right from the classroom through peer learning. Of course, at the beginning, it should be guided by the teachers, and they can even solve many problems with their peers. So these activities, collaborative activities, they help students learn how to support one another academically, and when they practice helping each other, it naturally builds a culture of positive group learning for students who practice that. Hence, group study, it could be very helpful if it is done with the right intention and structure. So a smaller group,
Mm,
maybe only two or three very sincere students can meet together and support each other through meaningful discussions. They can clarify doubts and improve understanding. However, we have to also remember that if the group is too large or if they lack discipline, it can easily turn into a social time and become more distracting
sitting,
than
chatting,
productive.
talking with friends,
Yeah.
maybe
So
more than that.
students need to choose
Mm,
their groups, their
yes, yes.
friends wisely. Yeah.
And should students like how can students study consistently instead of studying like one night before exam? There are a lot of students who just like study a night before their exam. So how can we make them study like consistently, like every day?
Yeah, again, the consistency, daily practice, repetition, studying every time according to their planned timetable that we have discussed earlier. They should not study only before exams because this will increase stress. They need regular study, which that will build confidence and better understanding over time. So the key to develop simple, sustainable habits rather than relying on motivation, I can say small advice to the students, maybe they should study daily in small portion, especially for weak and average students or those students who cannot concentrate on the studies. Then they should also try to fix a regular study time and revise. Revision is very important. Each week they should revise. So they should focus on building a habit, not waiting for the right mood or for the motivation. They should it's not a pressure, but teach themselves to build a habit of studying. So they should also remember that success does not
Mm,
come from one day hard work,
yeah.
but from steady, consistent
Mm,
effort.
okay. So what is more important is like compare like consistency is more important or intelligence for you?
Yeah, consistency or consistency or
Intelligence.
intelligent. Okay, when we compare consistency and intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind saying that consistency usually wins. It's not that we are talking down on the intelligent students, but even intelligent students need to be consistent in their preparation. But I would like to share one real life example. For example, there are students who are very intelligent, they grasp the concepts quickly compared to the other students, but they don't study, they don't revise, they don't practice. They start studying only before exams. On the other hand, weaker students or average students, they study every day, revise this weekly, practice regularly. What happens when the result comes? Those
Mm-hmm.
consistent students who study consistently, they will get more marks, even though we say we don't should not think about marks, but we know that they will they will uh,
Do better.
perform better, yes. So we can say intelligence gives you a start, but consistency takes you to the finish line.
Okay, that's nice. And how can student understand concept instead of just memorizing it? There are a lot of students who would just like repeatedly study, mug up everything, and write their exam. And like when you ask them personally, they don't understand like the concept of whatever has been taught in the class. They just mug up and they just go and give exams. So, uh, how would you make a student understand concept instead of just like making them memorize it?
So this approach also reflects the NEP 2020, which promotes conceptual learning over rote memorization, focusing on critical thinking and real understanding. So students can understand concepts better when they move beyond memorization and they become curious. So we should, like teachers, we should encourage them to make them ask questions like how, why. This will actually make them curious and ask questions to help them to understand better, and it will naturally build deeper learning. So if the foundation is clear, the concept becomes easier. And this is how even memory also, it will also improve their memories.
Yeah, but then there are a lot of students who feel like shy to ask questions or they feel embarrassed. Ki, what will their classmates say about like they are dumb or something? They feel embarrassed to ask question upfront. So what would you say to those students? How would you encourage them to ask more questions? Because there are a lot of students I've seen who are like very shy to ask questions, who are very afraid to ask questions.
Yes, that it'll really be depend on the teacher. They should identify these shy students and they are bright students. They should have tactics how to make them ask questions. For example, at the beginning, they can share real life examples, diagrams, or they can individual guidance slowly and slowly, or group work. It will help them. There are many um, uh, tactics we can say that the teachers can find how to help the shy students. Slowly, they will be able to ask questions.
Thank you. And how can we develop a growth mindset in them?
Yes, to develop a growth mindset also is very important. Students need to believe in their abilities, that they can improve. They can do something with effort, not by just getting something without doing anything. So they should also see that mistakes. They can identify their weakness, like we mentioned earlier. They can identify their strength, and they should feel that anything can be improved. Mistakes should be as a part soon. It's be developed as a part of learning, not something to fear. So
Mm,
they should believe that they have the abilities to improve, have faith in themselves, in what they can do. They should stop saying, I cannot. Like in the mind, even the shy students
mm,
we mentioned earlier, they cannot say, I cannot ask, I feel shy, I don't know. These answers should not, these questions or these statements should not be there. Instead, they should be taught to say, I can learn, I can try. And they should see mistakes as a lesson. So a growth mindset is a progress mindset, we can say.
mhm. And how can student manage fear of failure? I used to fear failure like anything. I would like the only motive for me was, "Okay, I don't want to fail." So, but what if a student fail? Like, how should they manage fear of failure?
Yeah, even adults, they don't like failure.
Mm,
Everybody,
mm.
we are scared, we can say.
Yeah, we don't like
So
to
when we
accept failure at all.
Yes. So speaking of fear, we know that fear is very common. So the best way to manage it is through for students preparation. If we have enough time to prepare and the perspective, they should have a positive feeling. And they should also know that failure is not the end. We know that quote which says that failure is a step to success. So they should accept failure as a part of success. I can do better tomorrow. Focus on effort, not on the outcome, not on the marks. They should say, I tried my best. I'll keep trying, not say that I cannot do now, I cannot improve now. They cannot say that. So they can start preparing better since preparation reduces fear. And they should also remember that failure is not is
The
not
end.
identity. It's just a feedback. And even parents, they should understand they should not scold the children, but it's just reflection so that it will help how to improve next time. Yes.
And what if a student receive like low marks? What should they do after receiving a low marks? Like there are a lot of students after receiving low marks, they just accept themselves like they're not that great at study. They're very weak and they don't want to progress. They're just like, oh, I'm just weak at studies. So what should they actually do after receiving low marks? How should they like come back?
Again, here, the focus should not be on failure, should not be on disappointment, should not be on the marks, but should be on the feedback. This is the feedback for me. I, it should be taken as reflection. So analyzing the mistakes and adjusting strategies can turn the setbacks into valuable learning moments. So students should therefore, they should not panic because we know whenever they wait for a result, that when the moment the result comes in, we have also experienced or know from the news and in many places that sad strategies happen. So we should teach students. I would like to say that they should not panic. They should not compare themselves with others who may have passed with flying colors,
Mm.
but they should analyze mistakes calmly and then identify their own weak areas, make a correction plan, and then say, I'll come back stronger. So, but they also need their own parents, like mentioned earlier, that parents should discuss, talk to them gently, and understand where the child struggle and planning improvement. It will build resilience. So resilience should come out from the failure or from this when they receive these low marks.
Thank you, ma'am. And before we end this podcast, would you like to say anything to, or like, do you have any kind of advice that you would like to give students who are going to give their exam or who are already giving their exam right now?
Yes, okay. Thank you very much for these very important questions. And I would like to give a message to students, all of them who are writing their exams or who are going to appear exams and board exams. Believe in your potential, stay consistent, stay curious, stay focused, be calm, be confident, and don't fear failure. Success is not built overnight, it grows through daily effort and a positive mindset. And I would conclude with this quote, which says, the goal of education is not just high marks, but strong minds, kind hearts, and resilient individuals. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable insight with us today. And to all our students listening, remember success is not about being perfect, it's about being consistent, disciplined, and willing to grow every single day. This is Uran, the Spark Stories. Keep learning, keep improving, and keep flying higher. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.